Hello, my name's Dawn and I'm a cognitive hypnotherapist. Cognitive hypnotherapy is a therapeutic approach where we work with the subconscious, that's the hypnotherapy bit, and the conscious, that's the cognitive bit, to help retune things that come from your past and maybe drive behaviours that you might not want anymore. This is another in the series of videos that I'm doing to help you benefit from some of the techniques in cognitive hypnotherapy. In this video, we're going to look at what you can do when you have an intense emotional reaction that you find is overwhelming you. Maybe something like panic, anxiety, or even anger. Through this video, I'm going to teach you 2 techniques that will help you cope with those emotions such that you are in control rather than your subconscious from this point forward. So what I want you to do is just sit comfortably and listen. The first technique is a technique called 7-11 breathing. It's based on the fact that our physiological reaction is linked to our mental reaction. We know, for example, that if you smile, it tricks your brain into feeling more happy than it was before you smiled. This is based on the same principle. So, for example, when you're panicking, you often find that you have an increase of breathing, your heart rate is up, your hands may be sweaty. These are physiological reactions driven by a subconscious reaction to something that is for survival. Maybe it's fight, flight or freeze. Based on the days many years ago, many years ago, where we had to be able to survive when being attacked for, by example, a saber-toothed tiger. And the best way to react to that was either to be able to run really quickly, get the adrenaline pumping, get the body racing, or be able to freeze so that the beastie didn't notice you. Now you might have noticed that there are not many saber-toothed tigers in our modern world, but our body still reacts in the same way. So very often when you're having some sort of anxiety attack, you find that one of the things that happens is you get a physiological reaction such as increased breathing. 7-11 breathing allows you to change that physiological reaction and kid your brain into no longer thinking it needs to panic. All you need to do is a very simple technique, is just breathe very slowly, very deeply, in for the count of 7. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then breathe out, just as slowly, just as deeply, for the count of 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do that as many times as you need until the emotion is back in control. This is useful for any sort of anxiety. It's useful if you have to perform in any way, shape or form in front of people. It's also useful if you have young kids who are having tantrum after tantrum and you need to calm yourself down. So you can use 7-11 breathing for many different things. The second technique that I'd like to teach you is called spinning. It's where we turn our emotion into something visual so that we can control it. And you might find that if you think about something, it's a lot easier to have the idea that you might be able to make it worse than the idea that you might be able to make it better. So for example, if you were to think about getting angry, you could probably imagine a way that you could get even angrier. But being able to calm down from that anger, that's a harder thing to think about. The same with panic and anxiety. If you suffer from anxiety, you'll know once you start getting anxious, it just seems to get into a cycle and build up and build up. And it's easier to think of how you could make yourself more anxious than how you could stop that anxiousness in the first place. This technique will work for any heightened sense of emotion to allow you to move on from it to a state that you'd rather be in. And the first thing I'd like you to do as we go into this technique is think about what calm feels like. And to do that, the first thing I'd like you to do is close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, imagine if that feeling of calm had a colour, what would that colour be? Imagine the first thing that springs into your mind, what would that colour be? And if you were to point somewhere in your body to where that feeling of calm would normally sit, where would you point? Okay. Now the next thing I want to do, and we'll use panic as an example, is to imagine the last time you had a lot of anxiety where you really felt close to panic or even panicking. Really think about that last moment. Allow yourself to feel that feeling of panic. And it might be a bit unpleasant, but I'm sure you can recover that moment, that last time, and remember that pretty quickly. And as you think about that moment of panic, that moment of anxiety, again, if you were to think about if it had a colour, what would that colour be? If it had a place in your body that you could point to, where would you point to in your body that that panic sat? Okay, now we have that in mind. What I want you to do is I want you to make that worse. Imagine whatever you could do, whether it's something to the colour, the location, the motion of it, I want you to make it worse. And now as you make it worse, I want you to imagine it spinning, wherever it is in your body, spinning as if you were doing a forward roll in the direction of a forward somersault. Imagine spinning that colour, spinning it faster and faster, making that panic worse and worse. Pretty uncomfortable for you by now. So now we're going to stop it and spin it backwards, like you're doing a backwards somersault. Spin that colour and that feeling backwards. And as it spins backwards, I want it to gradually slow down. And as it slows down, I want you to bring that colour of calm that you thought about a moment ago, as if it's bleeding into the spinning. As it spins down, and you know how when things spin, and you've got a couple of colours in there, they kind of blend together, don't they? And let's imagine that colour of calm being a stronger colour and actually flooding as it spins, as it slows down, with the colour of calm just flooding that spinning until it's almost impossible to see the colour of panic that was there before because the colour of calm has just flooded it. So by the time it comes to a total and complete stop, all you can see now is the colour of calm. This is a technique you can use whenever you need it for whatever heightened sense of emotion. You might find that different emotions have different colours, or even the same one has different ones each time. You might also find that as you do this more and more, that you don't actually need to make it worse before you make it better, because now your brain understands that you actually have enough control of this, that you can make it better at any time you need to. So try it out next time. Next time you're having a problem. Next time you have a heightened sense of emotion of any sort, give it a spin and see what happens. I hope you found this video useful today. If you need any help with anything, then you can visit my website and the details will be along the bottom of the screen. But otherwise, listen to this video whenever you need to. And I hope you carry on and have a good day. Thank you for listening.